prepping for relaxation of some specimens. Let's pick them out. I think I'm going to do a tarantula, a couple moths or butterflies. Let me see which ones I have. Hello, Memnon. It is a mostly black butterfly. When it is spread, they make really cool displays. So I think I'm going to do one of these. And favorite, a Luna moth. I'm actually in the process. I'm scared to announce this too early because I've never done it before, but I really want to. I want to raise my own Luna moths. I just love them so much. They're so pretty. Unfortunately, they only live about 7 days once they hatch from their cocoons, but they're a favorite for sure, and I think it'll be a good way to, like I've talked about before, make the smallest footprint possible when it comes to my art, and it'll be self-sustainable, and eventually maybe I'll even branch out and start breeding my own specimens, and I think that would be really awesome. So basically I'm just going to place these guys in here and let them get rehydrated. This Luna moth already, sometimes they get too dry and then like little bits will break off, but that's when we perform surgery. But surgery will happen later. Right now it's not so noticeable, but when we go to pin, it will be. And usually, well, this tarantula is kind of small. I wish I knew what exact species it is, but I don't. Which is another reason I'd like to start raising my own. I have 12 or 13 tarantulas right now. And there's a couple species that I would like to start breeding, but I'm just waiting for the ones I have to mature so that I know if I'm looking for a male or female for them to pair with in the future. So now that I have them in there, I'm just going to close it up and we will wait. They will likely be ready tomorrow evening, about 24 hours, especially the butterflies. The moth and the tarantula, we'll have to just test and see. Let's do a day 1 check. So basically what I'm checking for is just to see if they've got any give. Feels like a little bit, but not nearly enough. That's a definite no on the tarantula. That actually feels close. See, and the problem is if you wait too long, they will mold. So I'm going to do a little test and see if I can pin it on the board, carefully, of course, and if not, we'll put it back in relaxation with the other two. Okay, so I use wax paper, and of course this is just my method. This is how I learned years ago, and I haven't changed too much since then. Please don't judge my pinning board because it's also the only one that I've ever had. So it looks kind of nasty, but you know, it still gets the job done. And just like everything else that I say around here, I'm going to upgrade one day. I could not for the life of me find my entomology forceps, so that's frustrating, but I have another pair. I'm just going to be extra careful. This poor moth is kind of beat up, but we love everybody here. I'm actually kind of surprised this guy is done before the butterfly, because the butterflies are typically faster than the moths. And like I said earlier, this guy does have some damage to his lower wing. It actually looks like he's got some damage to the upper wing. But when you're making art, sometimes that's not so obvious. As for the lower wing, we're going to do surgery on him later once we get the rest of him pinned. It might even help hide some of those imperfections that he's got going on the upper wings. So of course they're quite fragile because moths and butterfly wings are, so you have to be very careful not to cause any more damage. So basically what I do is I try to get it in a decent position first on each side, kind of just pinning it in place, and then we can perfect it in a bit. Actually glad I checked because I almost didn't check the moth just because the other ones are so not ready. I'd like to think I'm making this look easy. And I mean, it's not super hard, but you also just have to like be really careful. And this can be frustrating because I have damaged so many specimens over the years. I just try to find different ways to use them if they're non-repairable, or like I said, I do my best to repair them. I'm actually excited because tomorrow I'm going to pick up some new friends. When I say friends, I mean inverts. I am getting a few scorpions, and I'm really excited because I'm getting something I've wanted for a long time. Some African millipedes. And they're kind of hard to find on the market, but I was lucky and I was able to find a group of them. So I'm going to keep those, and I'm hoping, if all goes according to plan, which, let's face it, never really does in my life, I would like to breed them. And now that I have my own website, not just Etsy, theoretically, I could start selling some little guys. So, we'll have to see what happens. But as of right now, that is the plan. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I try to get the spaces over here as even as possible, right? Because everybody likes things to be symmetrical, and that's definitely the case for me too. But honestly, it looks pretty good. I wish this part wasn't damaged, but I have faith that I'll be able to fix it. It's just, I get nervous doing surgery because the wings are so fragile that if you don't glue it like perfectly, then you can end up damaging more of it and ruining the whole specimen. And if that's the case, then I have put their wings in jars before. So what I'm doing now is you can kind of see this part of the wing is sticking out. Well, I don't want that, because if you leave that piece, as it starts to dry, it'll kind of like curl up, so it won't lay flat. And the ends are pretty fragile, like I'd say even more fragile than the rest. So now that I have it kind of where I want it, I'm just going to go around and put a bunch of pins in, and I will hyperlapse that. Alright, I have that all in place. I'm going to close this one back up with these guys and check on them again tomorrow. See if they've made any progress. Because they can go from okay to moldy as heck in no time. And we don't want that at all. But this guy, I'm going to just let him sit, and it usually takes, I like to let them sit at least 24 hours. 24 hours is pretty good. That they're usually dry by that point, and you don't have to worry about anything moving around after that. So yeah, we'll have to check tomorrow and see what's going on.